David Banks, give me a little bit of history and background on your car here.
Well, the car's a Talon. It was built in California. The design comes from Graham McRae. What happened, he originally built and designed the GM1s, then he went off and designed what he called a GM2. He took it to Australia, they won the Australian Grand Prix with it. Then he sold the design to the McCormick brothers in the States. They renamed them Talons, and they built 5. The first 3 were called MR-1s. This is the first MR-1 that was ever built, and then they built 2 MR-1As, so there was only ever 5 that were ever built. There's 2 that are still running in the world today. This is one of them, and the other one also resides in New Zealand now. So it's a great thing to have them both here and still running in their original format.
So, David, have you ever driven one of the earlier McRaes?
No, I haven't. To be honest with you, Alex, I've never driven a race car before I bought this thing. So a lot of people sort of said, you know, wow, you've got rocks in your head. But always loved them, always had a passion for them. So it was a huge opportunity when this car became available to grab something with so much history and have a play.
Has this car been racing recently, or is it a sort of a new rebuild?
The car was a guy, Hal Whipple, owned the car in California, and when he bought it, it was in the form of a Can-Am's car. A lot of these cars, when the Formula 5000 racing diminished, a lot of them got converted to Can-Am cars and went racing down that track. So Hal converted this back to the Formula 5000 to its former glory, what you see today. Then he, for the 40th anniversary of the running of these things, he took it out and had a bit of a whips and just about wrote himself and the car off. So the car was rebuilt again, and it hadn't run for I think about 3-5 years before we bought it. So we shipped it down, we've gone over it and managed to get it running beautifully and out there having a play. So
how many times have you actually raced this car now?
This is the 3rd race meeting we've been to. We went to Ruapuna and to Manfield. We had a couple of practice days at Hampton Downs before that, but basically this is the third full-on meeting.
So have you actually, I mean, as you say, there's a lot of support from the other guys in the Revival series. Have you actually had a chance to drive any of the other 5000s just to get some sort of comparison of how this handles versus some of the other vehicles?
Luckily for me, I was able to drive the other Talon before I bought this one, but apart from that, no, I haven't.
A lot of people that are interested in motorsport but probably don't know about what goes on the inside. I mean, you say you've never raced before jumping into this car. How have you found it? Has it been a steep learning curve?
It has been a steep learning curve, but it's been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of support from the likes of the Bursons and people like that who are heavily involved in the sport, but not hard to drive, to be honest with you. Very confining in the cockpit, and that's probably the hardest thing to get used to. I'm a big guy and I'm pretty well jammed in there, but no, it runs beautifully, the car runs beautifully, the big tyres stick to the road. I suppose one of the issues is learning how far you can push it. You know, we've managed to get yesterday we managed to get qualifying time of 1:07, so we were pretty stoked with that. So, the top guys are running around in these things at 1:01, but they've got a lot more experience than us.